Australia, a land of endless deserts, lush forests, and vast coastlines. Its story stretches back tens of thousands of years, long before humans ever walked its ground. Over millions of years, volcanoes erupted, rivers carved valleys, and deserts spread across the continent. Unique plants and animals evolved in isolation, creating ecosystems found nowhere else on Earth. Giant marsupials like the diprotodon roamed the plains. Enormous reptiles stalked the forests, and flightless birds towered over the land. This ancient world laid the foundation for one of the most biologically unique continents in existence. Around 65,000 years ago, humans arrived on this vast land. Aboriginal Australians became its first known inhabitants. They were hunter-gatherers, living in harmony with the land and moving across deserts, coasts, and forests. Their lives were guided by the Dreamtime, a spiritual understanding of creation that explained rivers, mountains, skies, and all living creatures. Knowledge was passed down through stories, ceremonies, and art, preserved for tens of thousands of years. Hundreds of distinct language groups developed, each with its own customs, songs, and traditions. Aboriginal Australians managed the land with incredible skill, using controlled burning to encourage plant growth, maintain open hunting areas, and reduce the risk of catastrophic wildfires. Life was deeply connected to the land, and communities thrived in one of the world's most challenging environments. Europeans first sighted Australia in the early 1600s. Dutch navigator Willem Janszoon sailed along the coast of Cape York, followed decades later by Abel Tasman, who mapped parts of the northern and western coasts. These early voyages did not establish settlements, and the continent remained largely unknown to Europe. In 1770, Captain James Cook arrived on the east coast and claimed the land for Britain, naming it New South Wales. While Cook did not invent Australia, his arrival marked the beginning of European colonization, a turning point that would profoundly affect the Aboriginal peoples. European settlement began in earnest in 1788 with the arrival of the first fleet at Sydney Cove. Ships carried convicts, soldiers, and settlers under the command of Captain Arthur Phillip. The settlers built homes and farms, introduced crops and animals, and began reshaping the land. For Aboriginal Australians, the arrival of Europeans was devastating. Land was taken, conflicts erupted, and diseases brought by the newcomers caused widespread loss of life. Penal colonies spread across the continent, and the natural and cultural landscape was fundamentally transformed. Yet Aboriginal communities preserved their culture and knowledge, often in secret, ensuring that traditions survived despite immense pressures. Ancient Australia to gold rush and expansion. Ancient Australia before humans. Australia's story stretches back far beyond human history, across millions of years of natur. The mid-19th century brought dramatic change with the discovery of gold in New South Wales and Victoria. News of gold spread quickly, and people from across the world flocked to the goldfields. Towns sprang up almost overnight, railways connected remote regions, and trade and agriculture expanded. The gold rush transformed the economy and population, creating new opportunities while also disrupting Aboriginal lands and traditional ways of life. Mining and settlement destroyed sacred sites and altered ecosystems. Yet Aboriginal people adapted and continued to maintain cultural practices amidst the upheaval. By the start of the 20th century, the Australian colonies united to form the Commonwealth of Australia. Federation brought political and economic unity, creating a national government and institutions. However, Aboriginal Australians were still denied basic rights and recognition. When World War I erupted, Australians joined troops in battles far from home. Soldiers fought in the infamous Gallipoli campaign and on the Western Front in Europe, thousands sacrificing their lives. These experiences forged a sense of national identity, and returning soldiers helped build cities and industries, shaping a modern nation. Australia played a major role in World War II, mobilizing soldiers, resources, and cities to defend the nation and support its allies. Ports and industries transformed to meet the demands of the war. Afterward, immigration policies encouraged Europeans to move to Australia, creating a more multicultural society. During this period, Aboriginal Australians continued to fight for equality. In 1967, a national referendum allowed Aboriginal people to be counted in the census and granted the federal government the power to legislate on their behalf, a significant step toward justice and recognition. In the 1970s, Aboriginal land rights movements gained momentum, culminating in the 1990 Mabo decision, which recognized native title and the traditional ownership of land by Aboriginal peoples. Australia became a global stage in 2000 when it hosted the Sydney Olympics, showcasing its culture, sports, and modern cities. In 2008, the government formally apologized to the stolen generations, acknowledging the suffering of Aboriginal children who had been forcibly removed from their families. Today, Australia is a vibrant, multicultural nation. Aboriginal culture, language, and traditions are preserved and celebrated, while cities and industries continue to grow. Its history is one of resilience, adaptation, and survival, blending ancient traditions with modern progress, telling the story of a continent that has endured, evolved, and thrived for tens of thousands of years.